Welcome to today's TEFILLAH topic. Today we're going to be dealing with the bracha, Mein Shalosh, bracha of AlHamichya, specifically with the line, V'nocha mipirya v'nisba mituva, that we eat the fruits of Eretz Yisrael and we are sustained by the goodness of those fruits. We know that Eretz Yisrael is very much connected to the fruits that are in Eretz Yisrael. The pasuk describes Eretz Zavat, Chalav Udvash, Dagan, Tirosh V'Yitzar, that the fruits of Eretz Yisrael are very much connected to Eretz Yisrael itself. We know that the mitzvos Tuliyos Ba'aretz, the mitzvos that are connected with the land of Eretz Yisrael, are very much connected also with the fruits. Trumos, Maestros, Shvis are all mitzvos which are connected with Eretz Yisrael and the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. So we're going to try to understand what is it about those fruits that has this special connection and the kedusha with Eretz Yisrael. We're going to start with the Tur. The Tur is found in Hilchos Brachos or Chaim, Siman Reish Ches. The Tur says the following: Yesh Omrim v'nocha mipirya v'nisba mituva. That this phrase that we were just talking about, ve'ein la'amro. The Tur does not think that this is something that should be mentioned. She'ein lachmo da'aretz b'shvil pirya v'tuva. The Tur does not feel that we should be connecting to the fruits and the physical pleasures that we're getting from the fruits. Ella, rather, when we're eating, l'kayim mitzvos hatziliyos ba, we should have the kavanah, we should have the focus that we're eating the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. It's in order to get the mitzvos from it, and not for the physical pleasures that we're getting from it. This seems to be very much connected with the Gemara in Sota Daf Yudalad Amud Aleph, where the Gemara explains Darash Rav Simlai. Rav Simlai says, Mipnei man nitav Moshe Rabbeinu likanas l'Eretz Yisrael. Why is the Moshe Rabbeinu wanting to go into Eretz Yisrael? V'chilecho mipirya hu tzarich. Does he need the fruits? Does he need that physical pleasure? O lisbo mituva. Does he need to gain the sustenance from the goodness of that fruit? Elakach Omer Moshe. Moshe says the following: Harbe mitzvos nistavu Yisrael v'nimskayim el be'Eretz Yisrael. As the Torah had explained, that Moshe Rabbeinu had a desire to perform the mitzvos of Eretz Yisrael, to perform the mitzvos of Tuliyos Ba'aretz, and that is why Ekanes ani la'aretz kadesh yiskaymu kulon al yadi. Moshe Rabbeinu feels that he wants to enter Eretz Yisrael in order to be mekayim the mitzvos, and not to get the physical pleasures from the fruits of the land. So we see that the shita of the Torah seems very much connected with this Gemara, and he doesn't want to include the nusach because it seems like that would be contrary to the Gemara. The Bach, super commentator on the Torah, says the following: Tema, he's a little bit perplexed. Halo kedushas eretz hanishba, but kedushas haaretz alyona. The Bach the Bach says that the kedusha of Eretz Yisrael is connected to a spiritual Eretz Yisrael that we find in Shemayim. That there's a parallel Eretz Yisrael in Shemayim that has a connection here in the physical Eretz Yisrael that we live on. And the fruits, the physical fruits of Eretz Yisrael, get a shefa, they get a sustenance from this spiritual realm. Therefore the Bach warns, and he says, Al Kain is here, the pasuk itself warns, Lo titame es haaretz asher atem yoshvim ba. Don't defile the land that you're dwelling on. Asher ani shochein betocha, and Hashem dwells in Eretz Yisrael. So don't defile that land. Ki ani Hashem shochein betoch bnei Yisrael, and Hashem wants to dwell in the Jewish people. The Bach is telling us, and he continues, that if we defile the land, we're minimizing our ability to connect with the Shekhinah. We're minimizing our ability to get the spirituality that comes from this Shamayim, the spiritual Shamayim above. The Bach, however, from the flip side is that the Bach says we have a responsibility. If we are Shomer Torah mitzvos, if we are able on our own to accomplish and do the Torah mitzvos, then we'll be able to benefit and be able to sustain ourselves in a very spiritual and lofty way. We'll be able to maximize our spirituality. The Bach concludes with the following. Bach says, V'al kain The Bach says, not like the Torah. He says we really should include this phrase, "Benocha mepirya v'nisba mituvo." Why? We're actually eating the kedusha of the Shechina. The physical food that we're ingesting into our bodies is allowing us to ingest kedusha and tahara. And we're able to sustain ourselves with kedusha and the tahara and the shefa that's coming from Shamayim. Now, this beautiful idea of the Bach does not explain the Gemara though in Sota, because why then is it that Moshe Rabbeinu does not want to eat the fruit? If we're talking about this fruit as something that is spiritually sustaining, and we're not talking about the physical pleasure, we're talking about the spiritual sustaining of our and bringing in the Shechina into our physical bodies. So why is it that Moshe wouldn't want to ingest this as well? So the El Rabbah Al-Atar, he explains the Efshar the Shiny Moshe. He says Moshe Rabbeinu is a little bit different here. The Shechina Tadir L'Gabei. The Shechina is always with Moshe Rabbeinu. It's always dwelling within Moshe Rabbeinu himself. He doesn't necessarily need the physical fruit in order to bring the kedusha inside of him, whereas the average Jew would. The average Jew would gain from ingesting the fruit and the spirituality that's contained within it. Another answer that one might be able to say is that the whole Dor HaMidbar was also eating a spiritual food. They were eating the man. So Moshe Rabbeinu, we could also say that Moshe Rabbeinu was also eating the man, and he also already had that spiritual food that he was ingesting. So there wouldn't necessarily be that need to eat the spiritual fruit, but rather to do the mitzvos tzliyus ba'aretz, as the Gemara in Sota explains. So there's a story of one of the Gedolim who was in Chutz La'aretz. He went to the market, he went to buy some fruits. He looks around at the fruit, he looks at it, he says, what about Trumos? Don't have to worry about Maestros. All the different mitzvos of Tzliyus Ba'aretz, he doesn't have to be concerned with. But then he takes a second, he looks at the fruit and he says, but it doesn't have the Kedusha, it doesn't have the holiness that a fruit in Eretz Yisrael would have. When we're eating the fruits of Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, we're zochah to live in Eretz Yisrael. If we're able to eat the fruit of Eretz Yisrael, perhaps we can take a message from the Bach and not be allowed to be habitual when we're just eating. When we're saying the bracha of AlHamichya, we should have in mind that the fruit that we have, the fruit that we've been eating from, perhaps we can rededicate our Torah and mitzvos. This is how we can connect to the fruit. We can connect to Hashem, is realize that the fruit that we have here is a physical manifestation of the Kedusha that Hashem has in the Shemayim above. We can say, listen, if we rededicate ourselves to Torah and mitzvos, and we're able to perform mitzvos and perform the will of Hashem, then we're able to infuse in this fruit the Kedusha, the Shechina, the Shefa into the fruit itself, and that's the kavanas that we might want to have when we're saying this bracha.